Hi everyone, my name is Sasquatch. I am a PvZ speedrunner, and my current PB is 3:32:28, which is, I think, top 25. What I'm going to be doing today is an idea that I've had for a long time, and I'm going to be analyzing a run from a different runner who actually wanted me to do this. I asked Moo here if I could do this. Moo said, yeah, of course, that's fine. And then I asked if I could also make it a video, and Moo said that that was also fine. All of that good stuff out of the way. Thank you, Moo, for letting me actually analyze your run. If you guys want, check out Moo in the description. He is also a PvZ speedrunner. He does PvZ speedruns probably more often than I do at this point. Regardless, we've got a 3-4x here, which is 346, I believe, which is not a bad time at all. Really good improvements from Moo here. I believe Moo had a 4-hour run just recently, not recently, but got sub 4 within a couple of months, and then also got this time. I think it was sub 4 and sub 350 within the same month. So really good improvements from Moo here. I asked if I could analyze this run, just to give some pointers, some feedback. This video is primarily for Moo, but it is also a video for some beginner runners or people who don't run the game who might want to. Enough talk. I'm basically just going to be analyzing this run as it stands. I'm going to try to skip around a bit so that it's not a 3-hour video as well. 1-1 being 48 is good. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing you can do about 1-1 being slow or fast. You just kind of have to take whatever 1-1 you get. Decent 1-2 so far, letting a guy go, which is a pretty good strat. The other strat is putting down 4 sunflowers and then just following the zombie with the pea shooters. If you don't know what I mean, 4 sunflowers here. If the zombie spawns here, you put a pea shooter basically here or here. Good execution in 1-2. Then there's 1-3, which this is a kind of an RNG-ish level. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, some unfortunate RNG stuff happens here, but we'll see. Yeah, so in this is probably not the greatest spawn ever, but you're dealing with this the way that I would deal with it as well. There's the cherry, which is good. And that pea shooter died. Okay, so here, Moo decides to put down the 3rd pea shooter to kill this guy, which leaves the pea shooter down in the bottom to be vulnerable, which costs him the pea shooter later on. So if you had waited on this pea shooter, the alternate is to not put this pea shooter down and actually let him kill this pea shooter instead, which is better. The reason why it's better, though, is because this guy will keep marching on, but it's not the final, it's not the 9, basically. It's not the 9th wave. This is the 9th wave. Basically, just manage your pea shooter cooldowns, and you'll be good. Otherwise, how did the rest of the level go? Perfectly fine. Yeah, 254? 254 sounds like it sucks, but it's not that bad. Unfortunately, no more value. That's kind of, that is a little bit unfortunate.
And I'm not gonna get any value.
Yeah, okay, so I would have kept him there for a little bit longer, just to at least get mower manip for maybe the final wave or something. But I do know that getting the mower manip here is a little bit tough. I do the same thing where I, you know, forget to replant the walnut and then the mower goes off without any value. This is actually pretty okay. It is the 9, so you kind of just have to let this guy go. But hey, you got mower out of that. You got value out of that. And then, of course, Walnut Bowling. The one thing that I would say is, for Walnut Bowling, is probably just manage your manip for your lawnmowers. Make sure that these guys don't go off too early or too late. Basically, perfect execution there. There's, like, yeah, great execution. 2 minutes, not a bad time at all. Great execution by Moo. Amazing. On the 1-5 there. Couldn't be better if it's luckier, obviously, but...
Could mean a lot of altars, could mean a lot of regular.
Ah, 1 cone. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, so when it comes to 1 cone on 1-6, you gotta be careful of extra vaulters. The thing is, though, extra vaulters are still faster than 2 cones. You just have to be ready for the vaulters. Doing some, like, 8th column potato mines here might not be a bad idea. Okay, so you do know the 3-flower strat. I mean, why wouldn't you? This is a tip for all PvZ speedrunners in general. If you are a beginner and just starting out, basically at the beginning of the level, you have time to plant 3 sunflowers. Once you get the 3 sunflowers out, you also have time to plant this potato mine. The only thing you have to be aware of is if the zombie spawns in the same lane, in the same row as your sunflowers, you have to put it back about here or here, depending on the zombie speed. But for beginners, I would say just drop it back to the 6th column and it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine there. It'll blow it up and it'll be doing it in a timely manner. That'll be valuable later because it'll save the sunflowers. With rakes, this is even better because you can see where the first zombie's coming out, plant your sunflowers away from that, and then also mine it. So your sunflowers end up being really safe. Mower minute, good. Ooh, yes, take that. Take that with flying colors. Take that too with flying colors. No cones again because 1 cone. Yeah, it was actually really good. Okay, the final wave did suck a bit. Yeah, the best cherry is definitely here. Whenever it comes to cherry bombs in the final wave, what you really want to do is focus on as many zombies as possible rather than high health zombies. Unless the high health zombies are like bucket heads or footballs and aren't gonna die, yeah, you usually want to focus on here. So Moo made the right decision and then plants a pea shooter to make that faster, as much faster as it can, and securing a good gold. So congrats.
Ew.
Ew. Yeah, you're right. Ew is right. Ew. So 3 cones, you have to be a little bit careful here. Also, middle minute here is not exactly the greatest, but it's also 1-7, so it doesn't matter nearly as much. I don't know if I agree with that, but if it works, it works. Yeah, I think I would have cherry bombed that one because, ooh. Actually, maybe you made the right play. Let's see. Oh, I definitely would have cherry bombed that. Yeah, I definitely would have cherry bombed that. For sure. What is this? That's crazy. Okay, so Moo is making the right calls here. I'm the one that's being bad at the game, apparently. I would have cherry bombed pretty early there. I would have cherry bombed way earlier there. Those were terrible cone spawns. Even on 3 cones, like getting 3 cones in a row in the same row, that's not great. I mean, that's not something Moo can control, but that was a slow first flag. But again, getting those unlucky spawns is kind of rough. Yep, that's always the correct cherry there. Wow, that potato mine up top did work. Yeah, no, this was a really good final. Really great, good final. Yeah, for sure.
Over a minute ahead.
Yeah, so a minute ahead here is always a great place to be, especially for someone with a 3-4x like yourself. 2 cones, you play this like you would normally. Yeah, that is a little bit rough. And middle minute here does matter more. So what you don't want to do is actually, you don't want a middle minute here. I think you're doing fine, but I definitely wouldn't have put this potato mine here. I would have put the potato mine somewhere else because this is already covered by a mower. You don't want to double cover something. And I do this mistake too. I make this mistake too pretty often. You just don't want to cover, you don't want to cover this row if it's already got coverage by mower. If you're gonna do middle minute, at least make the mower feel good, you know? Fantastic mower value. But now you've got this kind of weird split. It should be fine though, considering you've got a potato mine here. Oh, it's perfectly fine. Wow, wow, lucky. Oh, the cherry value, yeah. I was gonna say that cherry was a little bit late, but you made it work, so I can't really be assessing that too hard. Saved 10 seconds, good work. 1-9, 1-9's a little bit rough. What was the preview? 2 cones. This is about average, I would say. Yep, so you play this like you would like 1-7, but then you get repeaters instead of pea shooters. And you let go of 2 zombies. So this is actually considered unlucky. You don't want a zombie to go here. You want to let go 2 mowers. And you want to save the first one. But Moo dealt with that perfectly. I would have played the exact same plants in the exact same way. That's a little bit rough, that cone head, but it's fine. This is not a great spawn. I would have probably let the mower go here. You don't want this wave to slow you down. So I would actually chomper this because this is going to be pretty slow. And considering your time is already about 240, which again, isn't bad for 1-9 at all. But I would probably chomper that just to make it a little bit faster. The alternative is to actually invest in a repeater so that you don't have such a struggle with the next wave. But you have a pretty good amount of sunflowers down, so I wouldn't be too concerned with your sun situation. This is where the chomper is kind of useful because the chomper has a really fast cooldown. It'll be up way before the 9th wave comes, or the big wave comes in.
I barely any sun to supply one.
So he said he barely has any sun. You have 350 sun as of going into this wave. That's a pretty good amount of sun. I wouldn't discredit that. I would say that if you're going to use a chomper here, you do have to be aware of your sun, because if you use a chomper here, you're probably going to use a cherry bomb here for the big wave, and then you're probably going to have to look for putting down a repeater somewhere. So just be aware of your sun situation. Keep planting down sunflowers. Perfect. You don't even have to cherry bomb here. You can just save it. That's fine. A cherry bomb is also pretty good here, but either works. The cherry bomb is guaranteed for the 50%. The chomper isn't. Looks like you got it relatively quickly, though. Good potato mine. Do you shovel to save it, though? Or do you just let it go? You did just let it go, which there's a cone head down here, which is body blocking and all that good stuff. What you could do, let's see, how much sun did you have? Yeah, so about 350. You can afford here to double repeater this or chomper this and repeater this, so that way you can actually save this potato mine for something later. Well, nothing important went there anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter, but that's the potential value ideas. All right, so 110, this is all RNG basically. Basically, how many cherry bombs can you get? You can do some mower nip stuff here. Does he do it? Yes, okay. And does the vulture strat, wow. Good let go. And a bunch of cherry bombs just then. So also here, you probably want to put down at least a potato mine. I guess I should mention some conveyor belts stuff. If you don't know anything about this game, conveyor belts work in the sense that if you have more of a plant on the conveyor belt, you're less likely to get that plant. For example, 3 potato mines, you're less likely to get potato mines. So if you want a plant, you should use it, is the kind of science that goes behind this. You have a full manip on both walnuts and potato mines, which full manip is usually considered 3 or more. And what I would do here is, since you already have a pretty low chance of getting both, I would put down a potato mine. And the reason why is because if you have more than 8 plants on your belt, the belt goes slower. So you start getting less plants in a minute. So yeah, I would probably just put down I probably would have put down not a cherry bomb, a potato mine earlier, just to keep the belt flowing. Because yeah, see, you've got a lot of downtime here between your plants. Yeah, now you've got a plant that you can kind of use. Lucky cherry bomb though, not too much of a hassle to worry about that. Planting down all of the potato mines now. That's sad that the bottom one didn't go. Otherwise, this is just an average RNG level. Still 30 seconds ahead, really good. Going into night, now you have to think about graves. Just analyze your grave layouts. You probably know how to do that already though, Moo. And there's some nuance here in the night level. Usually you can just puff shroom through all of this. Yeah, so I plant the potato mine whenever I see the text pop up on screen, just so I know that that potato mine's gonna go off. Usually I put it here or back here with this, the forwardmost grave. Choosing not to do it is fine too. Your plant selection is actually walnut rather than pea shooter, which again is fine because, like I said, that's nuance. This final wave looks a little bit dicey. I would say probably down here is the better cherry, or maybe even in the middle. Yeah, so a little bit of a small, I guess, mini lesson here for anyone. This zombie has been body blocked for a while, but he has 3 puff shrooms on him. This zombie was also body blocked. This zombie has 3 puff shrooms, this zombie has 2. And basically what you want to do is you want to assess. This zombie has more damage per second, this zombie will die last. So you want to kill the zombie that will die last first. And then this zombie will die relatively quickly in accordance to after this guy dies. That can just save you like a couple of seconds here and there. Did you chomper this guy? No, you just cherried. Okay, so if you were gonna cherry, maybe assess the situation a bit faster. You see, oh, this can be a decent cherry if I wait a little bit. Right here is when you can cherry and it'll catch them. Maybe do the cherry a little bit sooner if you find the opportunity to. Obviously that's specific to the spawns. This wave requires nothing. You waited on the bucket head, which is also fine in some situations. Cherry bomb here? Yes, okay, good. All right, a little bit tight on the cherry bomb cooldown, but I think it'll be fine. Yeah, it's definitely fine. There's no doubt about it. The bottom cherry bomb's better. And really good execution on this level. Yeah, good level indeed. All right, so now we get into prediction strats, which prediction strats are you bring a potato mine and you try to kill a zombie. In this case, you're trying to kill the screen door. So you're trying to predict where the screen door is going to go. Moo knows this, other people might not. Wherever a zombie spawns, it's either the next wave or the next 2 waves. The zombie is less likely to spawn there. So if a zombie spawns in row 1, it's less likely to spawn there for the next 2 waves. So since this zombie spawned in the bottom, now the zombies are less likely to spawn there. Now that zombie spawned in the middle, zombies are less likely to spawn on the bottom and on the middle. That's a decent prediction. It's an early prediction. I usually predict around wave 4. Nice.
Ooh,
You did get it. You did get it. Nice. I was thinking that was pretty good. Nice, good. The early prediction worked.
Dang.
Here's the final.
Double prediction.
Nice. That's freaking awesome. You love to see it. Pay attention here, because this guy's getting attacked. You've got a lot of zombies down here. You want to try to stall this. You want to try to stall this out to get this guy in. But again, that's a tight cherry bomb. Yeah, okay. So at least get one of them. I would say if you're not going to get this guy, you could wait a couple of extra seconds to then cherry and get this guy in it. And same thing goes for if you wanted to cherry in early and get this guy.
What was that level?
Good level, that's what it was. That was a good level, that's what it was, Moo.
On Chomper, right?
Yeah, okay, so another thing is be confident with your plant selections. Even if your plant selection's wrong, you will spend more time in plant selection questioning if the plant selection's right than if you were to just start with the wrong plant selection. Obviously, having the wrong plant selection can be detrimental, but if you have a relative idea, like on night levels, bring obviously Sun Shroom and Puff Shroom and usually Fume Shroom and Chomper if it's a 2 flag level. Also bring Cherry all the time. Whenever you get the chance to, bring Cherry. And you have Gravebuster, so bring that too. Be confident on your plant selections. You got it, I promise. And if you aren't, then always have your notes ready. I know Scion's PowerPoint is really, really useful for plant selections. That's definitely slow. That's definitely slow. Chomper first. Worry about the Gravebuster later. Chomper first in this situation because this guy's about to die. He just lost his arm. If you Chomper here, then you're in good shape for the next wave because you've got a Fume Shroom down. Grab this Sun, Chomper here. You don't even really need this Fume Shroom here. You can save the Fume Shroom and plant it for the final wave or for the big wave wherever you need it. Try to assess whenever a Chomper is better, or if you want to kill a zombie manually. Killing a zombie manually is always slower than a Chomper, but it can buy you some time to get some sun if you're not confident. The Chomper triple stack. Yo, actually, these Chompers are getting some pretty decent value. Not gonna lie, those Chompers did some work. Auto scroller, lol. Wow, your cherry timings are better than mine. I would have missed that. Yeah, that's a little bit of a rough spawn. What you can do here is, instead of planting the Puff Shroom back here, plant it here. Because this Puff Shroom will more than likely get the 50% rule before it gets eaten. Close. Almost. Yes, okay. So this actually is fine now. So you missed the football, but you got a cone head. Be aware of this guy. He's not getting attacked at all. So this wave ends up being longer than it needs to be because this guy wasn't getting attacked at all, and this guy had a lot of body blocking working for him. Or not body blocking, but he had a lot of space to work with here. If you plant a couple more Sun Shrooms, by the way, you should plant like maybe 1 or 2 more during the setup phase. You can plant a Hypno Shroom here, and then plant a Puff Shroom here, and then Puff Shroom behind that, and then that's faster already. Try not to get tunnel visioned. Always be looking at the full board, looking for opportunities. The top cherry bomb is the best, obviously. Wow. Yeah, there's not really that much of a better final. Good on the Scaredy Shroom. I don't know if you kind of killed your sun economy. No, you didn't kill it that bad. Never mind. I'm a liar. Don't listen to me.
Oh shit.
That's a good cone spawn, so that'll die pretty quick. That's a good cone spawn, so that'll die pretty quick. That's not a good cone spawn. Yep, second Scaredy Shroom to compensate. Good. You have like a 250 here, which is, I mean, not bad for where you're at, because the second flag will go super fast, especially when you start spamming down the Scaredy Shrooms and the Fume Shrooms and stuff. Okay, you Hypno to screen door. I usually wouldn't Hypno a screen door, but I mean, it's fine there because you're getting it off cooldown, so use it on something at least. Also, Cherry Bomb didn't get used here. I don't think Cherry Bomb got used at all during this level except for the final wave. Make sure you're using Cherry Bomb in the second wave. Yeah, so Cherry Bomb is not just for the final wave. You can use Cherry Bomb usually about 3 or 4 times during 2 flag levels. You're probably very aware of that now. Decent final. Would I have Cherry there? I'm waiting. So that looks tempting. And usually my brain just goes football zombie, Cherry there. But you actually, I think you can Cherry here and it's fine if you wait for the Hypno cooldown. But you can also Cherry there and then Hypno down here somewhere, and that's fine too.
Some levels I do.
The Fume Shrooms really make quick work of these guys. So for here, 2-8 is interesting. You're predicting this, but you can only predict 9th column on the Game of the Year edition. So if you don't know, there's 2 different versions usually that runners will run any percent on. It is this version, which is Game of the Year, and then it's the non-Game of the Year version, which is the original release in 2009. That release has Michael Jackson as the dancer instead of just this disco zombie. Michael Jackson moves faster and also moves to the 8th column, so you can do predictions in the 8th column. It's a little bit helpful in any percent, but I mean, it's not a huge deal, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. That's kind of the only difference between the two as well. So this prediction is weird. So the dancer can only show up in the middle 3 columns, or in the middle 3 rows. So it's only 2, 3, and 4. So you have the optimal grave spawns here, because this is perfectly fine the way that it is. That'll get a 50% rule. The rest of these waves the rest of these rows should be covered by puff shrooms, and you can predict in 2 places. So you can pick and choose where you want to go. Also, for some reason on 2-8, runners often forget to plant more sun shrooms. I did it too whenever I was around this level. If you plant more sun shrooms, I promise this level gets so much easier. Planting more sun shrooms is good because then you can get more scaredy shrooms, and you don't have to worry about the cherry bomb because hypno shrooming is decently expensive, and then you also have to save for the cherry bomb. So yeah, this level is brutal because if you don't have enough sun to cherry, or if you don't have enough sun in general, you will lose a lot of time to this final wave. For example, here, there is not a good cherry. There's just not. I mean, the best cherry is probably bottom because it takes care of everything. At least here, down here. But then you have to shovel like 2, and then you have to use a hypno shroom here, and then you have to reinforce this row because this puff shroom's getting ravaged, and it's just, if you plant more sunflowers, you have more scaredy shrooms for the final wave, so it's a little bit more manageable. So yeah, I see a lot of things happened here, and you had to wait on 2 mowers. So getting a decent final wave here in 2-8 is really important, but also planting a lot of sun shrooms so that you can get more scaredy shrooms up is really important too. Oh, you did get a diamond. I didn't even notice. I won't worry about it. There's the diamond that you got.
Yeah,
good.
this is.
So usually when you get a diamond, your money pace is set for the rest of the level, or the rest of the run entirely. You don't have to worry about money at all, unless you buy every single rake that's optional. Then you kind of have to worry about it, but don't do that. Unless you get 2 diamonds, then you can buy every rake. If you get 3 diamonds, then you don't buy the rake so that you can buy roof cleaners. Yeah, that's a really unfortunate spawn. You kind of just have to brute force that one. Yeah, spam scaredy shrooms in this. Really go for the scaredy shrooms here. So do you use the doom shroom? The biggest thing is if you use the doom shroom or not. If you use the doom shroom, it's great. If you don't, then it's a little bit, that's where you can save time. Yeah, okay, so you didn't use the doom shroom at all during the second flag. That's probably the biggest critique I have. But other than that, I would say that this was a pretty good, other than planting maybe more fume shrooms because you have 495 sun. Planting more fume shrooms and using a doom shroom. That's my critiques. Yeah, it went well. I would say that 2-9 is pretty decent. Sub 5? Not sub 5. Almost sub 5. Like 501, that's good. Another RNG level, relatively RNG. Yeah, so the game isn't even giving you that many grave busters to work with, which you're managing perfectly fine, so I think I'm just gonna skip to the end for this level just to see how it went. What the? dude, never mind. I'm gonna stop skipping now. What is that? What the hell? 4 footballs on the screen currently. 3 of them are Hypnode. 1 of them is eating another one. What? The insane Hypno value. Also, for those that don't know, an Ice Shroom actually does 1 P's worth of damage. So if you're on the 9th wave and you have like a Doom Shroom, if you have a Doom Shroom in your reserve, just pop down your Ice Shrooms. The Ice Shroom is gonna be the plant that you manip in this level. This spot usually misses these at the bottom, so your middle Doom Shroom is better. You can do it earlier, I believe, though. But yeah, the top guy here, this guy up here is pretty quick, so you kind of just have to accept that sometimes zombies aren't going to get caught. You can usually get, if you have really good money pace, you can get the 8th seed slot before, I think you can get it on 3-2 if you have really good money pace. But 3-1 is played kind of the same as 1-8. It's just kind of worse because the pool. Good mower value. Nice. Didn't even have to use the walnut, did you? No, you did. Never mind. Yeah, see, that's the problem. Now, what you kind of want to do is, if you can, cherry, like, either here or here. Probably here, because this guy doesn't have anybody on him. Or, what you could do is cherry here on the land. Shovel this chomper, put down another chomper. Well, your chomper's on cooldown. Yeah, that's a hard scenario. What did you do? Okay, so that cherry is probably not the best idea. You want to definitely blow up this area in the pool, so you got the right idea, but there's a couple of stragglers that are leaking, so. But, you know, 3-1 sucks. You can probably save like 30-ish seconds here. Did you get you have the 8th? Yeah.
I've already got it.
That's pretty sweet. You can use you can use walnut strats.
Pretty damn nice.
Yeah, walnut strats here is obviously the best.
Diamonds.
So for pool levels, after you get squash, and even when you get tangle kelp, there's this thing that I like to call the wall of instants, where you're letting two zombies go at the beginning of every pool level, pretty much, because all of them are 2 flags, and you're using repeater in all of them. So you're gonna just be planting a lot of sunflowers to save up for your first repeater. In the meantime, you're gonna be planting instants everywhere to just kind of protect your sunflowers, and that kind of just inadvertently makes a gigantic wall of instants that you just use all the time, like that get used really quickly at the beginning of pool levels. Relatively good so far. That's really good value on that. Oh, what a killer 9. What? That's insane. Good 9. Yeah, that was a misclick. I could hear it in your voice. So the cherry bomb was kind of to compensate for the misclick. The squash was better used in the pool anyways, but I think that's perfectly fine anyway, regardless. What you did slower, but it's also safer, so. Yeah, so just focusing on these bucket heads is really what you want to do. So you also didn't use walnut at all, unless you used it at the beginning. Maybe you did, I don't remember. But if you have walnut, if you have the 8th seed slot, make sure you're utilizing it. It's more useful for 3-3 because snorkels, and if you can 9th column stall the snorkels, then you're doing freaking awesome. But you can also put the walnuts in the 6th column to stop all ambush zombies. So don't even worry about ambush zombies. Just kind of pre-plant the walnuts and you're perfectly fine. Like there, you could have walnutted that instead, and then use the squash like here, and then cherried like here. Or here. Not even a single cone in this, what?
Yep.
So yeah, you dealt with that relatively well. And you saved 30 seconds because your PB was 543. Whoa. I just realized you went from 355 to 340. That's really good.
I will legitimately shit my pants.
What?
If I get that spawn, I will legitimately shit my pants.
I see. Okay. Did you shit your pants? Good, using that. Good mower value too. Something to do to make this, something that you could do to make this faster is cherry bomb this. You have 3 repeaters out, and you have plenty of sun. You have you have 16 sunflowers out. Not 16, you have 13 sunflowers out. Yeah, you can cherry bomb this and it's fine. So I would just use the cherry bomb there. And then you've got the potato mine protecting one of the lanes, one of the rows. You've got like 3 repeaters out. You could have 4 at this point. Yeah, especially if you don't use it here. If you're not using the cherry bomb here, you should have used it on the 9. Now here, what you want to be doing is putting walnuts in your 9, in the 9th column, just to stop those snorkels. So if you have the ability to do that, just do that. And if you don't have the ability to do that, try to get chompers on them, instance. Always remember that cone heads are more of a priority than snorkels, but snorkels require a lot of attention, so just be mindful of where snorkels are going. This final wave is a little bit rough. After examining it for a little bit, you cherry bomb here, chomper here, and then squash this guy. And then double repeater this if you have the sun. What? That's funny. This has happened twice. The best way to avoid this is to kind of maintain your what are they called? Ambush zombies. That's what they're called. Kind of manage your ambush zombies a little bit better. And the way that you do that is walnuts is perfectly fine. Extra repeaters in the pool is also a good way to do it. Pre-planting chompers is another thing that you could do. Usually top runners, like top runners, don't plant chompers, pre-plant chompers. Some of them do, some of them don't. At that point, it's nuance. But for here, you could pre-plant chompers just in the sense that you have a lot of sun. Pre-planting chompers might be useful. Another thing is, I've noticed that you don't like planting sunflowers in the pool. Plant your sunflowers in the pool. They love the pool. They love the water. This will give you more opportunities to do chompers, so you should definitely be looking for more sunflowers in the pool in order to get more repeaters and more chompers. I don't really know what the plan there was, but good first flag. So this is more so what your pools going into second flag should be like. It looks scary, and it is scary, but keep in mind, you've got several Tangle Kelps in the pool. You've got, a cherry bomb to at least buffer. I would put a sunflower down and just keep trucking along. Oh, even better. You don't even have to.
I will take care of this soon.
Yeah, that's the better part. You didn't even have to cherry bomb that wave. Why? He looks so funny. That's really funny. Try to focus more on the cone head is basically what I'm saying. So for this 9, yeah, so for that 9, I would say you can chomper the guy behind because it is 9 and deal with this guy later because you have an extra flag. You have 3 flags in this level. More sunflowers is probably the key here, and also trying to use cherry bomb more often because you didn't use it at all in the second flag. I won't say that again though, so that you aren't just getting bombarded by use cherry bomb. 3-5. I won't say anything about 3-5. It's just another conveyor level. Do conveyor minip if you can. And RNG. For this level, focus on the Zombonis, and you have 1 cone, so that's really good. You should really be focusing on the sunflowers hard here. Yeah, so see, two repeaters. This is a little bit scarier because you don't have nearly as many in Tangle Kelps in the pool. You had a couple pool spawns. The way that you manage this is you cherry bomb the final, and then you try to get some repeaters up in order to play catch up, basically. And then you utilize your instants really well. And keep planting sunflowers. That's the most important part. No cones helps too. Or 1 cone helps too. That was a good. You want to... Yep. You got it. Oh, that's so sad. That not getting up costs you a bit of... actually a pretty good amount of time. You still managed to get a 230 flag 1, so... You might have been going too fast if it had gone off. Yeah, don't cherry bomb this. Even if that happens, just don't cherry bomb it because it's a lot of sun, 1, and 2, you've got kind of bigger problems, and you've got to look forward. And I'll say this part, and probably just move on to like 3-9 to see what happens there. Always be looking ahead. Always be looking like kind of at the front. If you let these guys go, and if you're looking kind of more towards the front, you would see this. You'd be like, oh, I could probably either put a repeater down, grab these 2 sun, squash this guy, do some things to actually get it down, and then plant like sunflower, lily pad, start getting more preparations down. Let these guys go because they'll keep the manip in the pool. If you can let this go and it'll be fine.
They are
just look ahead and keep activating 50% rules. Don't even be concerned with those guys. Spending that much sun on 2 zombies isn't worth it. Getting sub 7 on all of these pool levels is kind of your goal here. Get sub 7 on all of these. You can do it. This guy ate the potato mine, which sucks. You could have saved it, but I don't know if it's worth it. Ah, and you decided to repeater it. Yeah, no. This is where things get kind of worse. You should have chompered that. That would have made it way faster and better, because then you're not risking that, because that repeater dies if he was any faster. And this is like a 3-minute flag one, which is, it's okay, but there's definitely time saved there.
Might lose a little bit of time here because of that, but I don't want to play this.
Oh, you reset for the rake? That's fine. If you feel more comfortable with the rake, you'll save a good amount of time, probably. The indicator is not good, not reliable, whenever it's 3 flag levels. So try to get that first flag under 3 minutes. The dolphin's less priority. You kill the cone head. I think it has more HP. I'm pretty sure. Cones are like the most health efficient zombies in the game. And by that I mean the slowest, because they have so much health. Torchwood's coming out. I usually put them a column more forward. The reason why is so that you can fit 2. You usually want to put 2 repeaters in these, so more sunflowers is the answer there. And then conveyor level. You should know how these work by now. I'm gonna just skip it. For fog, always be planting puff shrooms and always be planting sun shrooms. Basically
No,
the same thing as night. And use doom shroom. Use your doom shrooms as much as possible. Usually you can't use one in the first wave in the first flag, because it's too sun inefficient. Like, you don't have enough sun to use it, but you do in second flag, so use it. Use it in the 2 flag levels, the few that you have. You could probably doom shroom the final, the big wave here, or you can save it for the second flag at some point. Yeah. Yep, there you go. Good. Spamming Scaredies is also huge here, so make sure you're spamming the Scaredies on the cones, and then always doom shroom the final wave. It's the fastest. Here, what you're doing is you're letting go of the balloon. You ignore it, basically, because the chances of you getting a 50% rule there are high. So again, here, ignore it. And you got the 50% rule, so it's fine.
First one with
There you go.
Blover.
I'm gonna be skipping through fog quite a bit, because fog is fog. Like, plant more Scaredy shrooms. That makes you go relatively faster. Manage your sun, manage the miners, you know, try the prediction if you want.
Other than that,
Use blowers on the balloons. All basic stuff. Base breaker's hard. I won't say anything about your base breaker because my base breaker's terrible too. But this is really, really common for runners.
let's go. I got the prediction.
Good work. The predictions there. The prediction there is really important,
Oh, you
actually.
just need money.
This doom shroom is actually hard to time. I wouldn't be surprised if you lose the miner here. You didn't because you potato mined it, which is really smart if you
That
have
was a
potato
good
mine.
level.
Another tip here for fog is as soon as this guy pops out and then starts walking, you can immediately plant a chomper on him.
Walk,
So
and then I can place it on.
like right now you can do it. You don't even have to wait. I used to do it where I would wait until the miner got to the second column. That's really slow. Waiting here is just waiting for you at that point. Don't make the game wait, basically. The pogo here is really hard to take care
I'm
of.
using a mower.
Yeah, I usually use a mower anyways. I usually go into that
At the end
level
of the build,
either
honestly.
thinking I'm gonna use a squash or I'm gonna use a mower. That was slow. Another Scaredy shroom on that, please. And more sun shrooms. You can plant more of them.
And back.
But yeah, see, you have 75 sun at the end of this. Go ahead and Scaredy. Yeah, I would say never rely on other magnets. Just plant another one. If it's nighttime. During daytime, it's different. I mean, this is literally... did you get magnets? Did you get magnets or not? That's how fast it goes, basically. If you did, then congrats, fast level. If not, you suck. Using starfruit shotguns, though, is really useful. Especially whenever you don't have a lot of damage against buckets. Again,
This is scary.
totally RNG level.
Habit to help out.
I don't know why. You should have saved that sun. Yeah, save the sun here. You want more to actually deal with what's coming next, which is 2 regulars. Oh, you tried to squash it.
Huh?
I got you. Yeah, the squash doesn't see backwards on roof for some reason. For Bungie specifically. Yeah, so same principle for cherries as for jalapenos. You want this jalapeno to be here because that's where the most zombies are. And what you can do is you can plant another cabbage pulp back here, and then you can plant a squash here to take care of that. Oh, that's exactly what you did. What the heck? What? Ignore me. Try to work on that final wave. I really like starfruit strats, even though they're kind of hard for me. Yeah, for 5-2, just chompers and as many instances as possible. You don't even need that many starfruits. People think that with starfruit strat, you use starfruits. Nah, you're using more instants than starfruits. And it seems like that's what you're doing, so good. So for this, I think that the biggest thing is to just use cherry an extra time and keep using chompers and use the other instas as well. Use potato mines a little bit more. If you can save on a chomper, that's cool. Plant a couple extra starfruits and then you should be pretty good. Looking at a pretty good time. 5-4 is scary because of pogos. Just, that's pretty much all I have to say about 5-4. Otherwise, you're just doing survival strats. I definitely would have squashed him earlier, but that's because I actually speedrun survivals, so I know how that works a little bit better. Yeah, so storing dooms is really big. So store all of the dooms that you can. Store at least 2. And you can store them earlier too. Store 1, usually try to store 1 before the first flag, but get 2 glooms out first. If you can't get 2 glooms out, then don't store the doom until like the big wave or something. But if you can get 2 glooms out and the doom, that's perfect. Yeah, just use dooms more.
Thanks for the follow.
I would say. Yeah, go follow Moo on Twitch. 5-5 is just all RNG. That's probably the worst RNG conveyor level in the game.
All my chompers are safe.
Besides maybe 310 or 410, not 310. I mean, all conveyor belt levels can be terrible if bad RNG is a thing, but those in particular, 410 and 5-5. Yeah, so again, 5 minutes, not a bad 5-5 level at all. Garlic strats are good. Pumpkin strats are faster technically, but also pumpkin strats are harder, so.
Dose?
Yeah, that was probably the better option, saving the squash. You did put on the future. Remember to put that on before, even more before then. Now you should probably be looking at storing a doom. Yeah. Yep, there you go. Perfect. 2 dooms for the end. That's what you want. The last 3 levels, I will say, are kind of just the same level, copy-pasted. Even if you're doing pumpkins or garlics, they're really similar. They're kind of just optimized, not optimized. They're just kind of unoptimized survival strats. And I think a couple of things that we can say for glooms are always plant them off cooldown unless one's about to die. If you think one's in danger, don't plant another gloom. Pay attention to ladders so that you don't panic, play a squash, and then the squash is useless. The doom should have been stored earlier, and the dooms should be used more frequently. General rule of thumb as well for glooms. Usually, if you see this, you don't want to plant this gloom. You want to wait. But also, let's see what happens. Yeah, so another thing you should do is light the you can do that. You can light the doom shroom and that'll save it. Use your doom shrooms to save your gloom shrooms. That was so close to being dead.
Shit.
That hurts me.
Man.
That was really close. Yeah, that was really close. Again, always be aware of ladders because they can snipe your glooms.
Started fumes there.
Always be aware and try to have a flower pot off cooldown if you can. Whenever a wave is ending and starting. Between the wave transitions, basically. And when in doubt, light a doom. You have plenty of them. Like, you should probably have... What, did you... Yeah, okay. So you could have stored another one, and then just, like, blown up the last 3 waves. Which, it actually seems like you tried to do that, which is good.
I don't know why I placed it there. I placed it here because it gives you more time. Why do you do that?
It doesn't really matter, depending on when the zombie spawns. The zombie will always take 25 to 30 seconds to spawn the next wave, the game will. So if the next zombie spawns before this, looks like it didn't, but it was probably about to. Yeah, getting the first gloom up is really important. You can squash this guy. You can squash this guy. I would say you have to squash at least one cone in the first flag. Do you use the squash? No, you should probably use a squash early so that you can have the squash back for the Garg, but make sure that you're using the squash early enough so that it doesn't break your cooldown whenever you get to the Garg. Use the squash at some point in wave 1, just not on wave 8 or 9. He doesn't even spawn in the big wave, he spawns in the 11th wave. The rest of this level should be pretty straightforward. Just a bunch of cone heads. Not really much of a way to speed that up. Okay, so here you actually want to light the Doom. You did light the Doom, and then you want to squash. Good. Perfect execution there. I wouldn't have...
yeah, that was good.
Yep. No, I couldn't have done that better.
That was really good for me. Double.
That was like yeah. You Doom first, and then you squash there, because this guy will get away if you don't. And then you have to like fumble around with a Gloom and kill this guy as quickly as possible or whatever. So, fantastic work, yeah.
Yeah, that was...
So 5-9 is probably the hardest level in the entire run because of metal and catapults. Because you don't want to usually use pumpkins unless you're going for a really fast time, because pumpkins are super risky, especially with metal and catapults.
Flying level.
Gargs don't matter unless you get the extra Garg, which an extra Garg can spawn in 5-9 if you're unlucky. I love the hype ups to 5-9.
This was too good.
5-9's always the scariest level because you don't want to lose. Because if you lose, like, that's 3 hours of your life down the drain. I would have squashed more aggressively, but you're scared, so I understand. And remember, you can pot stall. Oh, you're literally doing it in front of my eyes while I'm saying that.
Livelihood is more important to me in this level.
Very based opinion. I think that's a perfectly fine...
I think that is fair.
Yeah,
people can understand that.
That's probably the most understandable statement in the game. 5-9's scary. I do think you need to store a Doom, though. Also, these Doom Shrooms here in the back are kind of not as useful because they're not really gonna they're not gonna reach all the way up here in column 0. Which, I'm not even joking, they'll reach up there if you need them to. Put them in the 7th column. I wouldn't put them in the 6th because in the 6th, they're not really gonna do much. Put your magnets on the edges. Put your magnets back out here, like rows 1 and 5, because you're not going to be putting Dooms there. Put your magnets out on the edges, put your Dooms in the center. And you can usually muster one magnet like here, even, sometimes.
I didn't use any of my Dooms.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is using the Dooms. At least you recognize it, though. Alright. And then Dr. Zomboss is all about 3-cycle bustless. So also, if you get the luck for that.
Not Zomboss me. I have seen people lose runs like this to Zomboss.
I just wanted to preface this by saying, unless you get a really, 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 really bad hell cycle, you're not losing to Zomboss here. You're not losing 15 minutes to Zomboss. You'll lose. You can spend like 7-8 minutes on Zomboss, depending on how bad the cycles are and how bad the RNG is. But you're not really going to be looking at 15 minutes of Zomboss gameplay. Which, let's see, what do the spawns, the RNG look like? Yeah, so this RNG isn't exactly 3-cycle bustless RNG.
Like really...
Oh, also, if you want to do a 3-cycle bustless, make sure that you always have pot manip. 3 pots is good. If you have 4 pots, that's technically better. But if you want to make sure that your conveyor belt doesn't get clogged, put down a pot if you have 4. The way that you do 3-cycle bustless for beginners who probably don't know how, basically what you want to do is you want to pass the first cycle. You want to do a reasonable amount of damage to Zomboss, but most of the damage you want to do to Zomboss needs to come from your plants, not your instants. I would say using like Jalapeno Ice Shroom a couple of times is fine. You really don't want to do much damage to Zomboss at all. That's why I said for the first cycle, you don't want to do damage with your instants. Like, you can Jalapeno Ice Shroom like once or twice, but other than that, don't do anything. Second cycle, kind of the same thing. Do it a little bit more, but don't get past half of his health. And then hope for a lot of melons. But then also keep track of how much health he has. So if you are looking at doing more than half of his health before the second cycle is over, what you want to do is you want to bring back your damage by not using a jalapeno. And don't use jalapenos in the field without Zomboss being down unless you absolutely have to. Here, I'm thinking about planting an ice shroom just to get rid of one. The belt being clogged is not great. All right, let's see. Yeah, here I would stop planting ice shrooms.
Freezing him like crazy.
Did he bust?
This could have been a bust.
Yeah, he bust. So, again, you did more damage. Try to do less damage next time. Use maybe 1 less ice shrooms or 2 less ice shrooms, and you should be relatively fine. That's rough, though. 3 melon pults getting crushed is rough. Yeah, this could have... let's see. I don't know if it would be able to completely bustless. No, I don't think so. You don't have enough firepower for it. Use the jalapeno before you put down the ice shroom. It gives you more freeze time. Waiting for a 4 cycle is...
I don't know what I could have done differently.
Nothing, really. I mean, I don't even think 3 cycle bustless was super possible here. You might have had to work for it, but I don't think you have enough firepower to.
We got
Yeah. So there's the end of the run. 346. Really good time, especially for someone coming from a 355. Like, what the hell? Excuse me. 5. So for Zomboss, everything is pretty much revolved around getting 3 cycle bustless as quickly as possible. As long as you can do that, you're smooth sailing. Kinda to recap, for day, you're looking at decent RNG, trying to get decent RNG, using your mowers more effectively, using more cherry bombs. I would definitely say more cherry bombs. And then also looking to kind of optimize a couple of the pea shooter placements and different scenarios that you're going through. Night, definitely look at your 2 flag levels and use cherry bomb more often. I can't stress that one enough. That's kind of the most common theme that I would say is just use cherry bombs, use more instants more often. If you have to do a practice run or two where you're using instants off cooldown, I would say do that even. And then pool is try to go faster during the setup phase. It looks scary, especially when you're going in with 2 repeaters, like this one, for example. This was good, and it looks a little bit dicey, but I promise you it's fine. If you save your cherry bomb for the big wave, you'll be doing all right. For fog, biggest thing, probably plant more scaredy shrooms, and you'll beat this time really easily. Plant more scaredy shrooms, use more doom shrooms, use squash more often. For roof, try to get these starfruit strats down. Use more instants than you're using starfruits, and then use jalapeno and cherry bomb more often. Once in the second flag for each, and then once in the final wave for both. For 5-1 specifically, make sure that you're keeping track of this final wave. This final wave is always going to be awkward. It's never going to be easy. So just keep that in mind and always be prepared for whatever comes out. And then try to assess the situation as fast as possible so that something like this doesn't happen again. Easier said than done, I know, but I think you can do it. Always plant your glooms off cooldown. Plant your fume shrooms 1 column forward. That way they're always attacking and they're not back here. When they're back here, they have to wait for a zombie to get to column 9 in order to start attacking. Here they can start attacking zombies in like the 0th column or whatever you want to say. Yeah, and then plant your glooms off cooldown and use squash a little bit more often. And then always store dooms and try to get your dooms out faster. And then also use your dooms, make sure you're using them. If you've never played survivals, the way that I want to kind of explain this to you is if you get really bad spawns and you get 2 cone heads outside of the range of your gloom, the best thing to do is probably put a fume shroom on it or try to plant a gloom shroom if you can. If it's not possible, then you just kind of have to wait. The other thing is as soon as you get the availability to store a doom. And then also make sure you're squashing catapults. And then for 5-9, because 5-8 and 5-7 are kind of the same. For 5-9, again, kind of like I said, move these magnets out to the edges and then put your doom shrooms here. Use doom shrooms more often. Use a doom shroom for the 9th wave. Use a doom shroom for every 9, except for the first one because you can't afford it. You can do that, and it's really, really beneficial. It'll save you a lot of time in the future juggling 9th waves and stuff. So magnets out in the center. Try to manage your coffee bean timer a little bit more as well because you have 3 sleeping. I mean, obviously you don't want to light this, but I'm pretty sure 2 seconds later you use the coffee bean, right? Yeah, okay. So just make sure that all of your shrooms are actually awake and then plant Gloom Shrooms off cooldown, and then make sure that you're waiting on these Gloom Shrooms sometimes. You want to put the Fume Shrooms definitely behind them, but even then, it's still kind of liable to get hit by Coneheads or catapults, not catapults, Coneheads or bucket heads that the magnets don't catch, or Jack-in-the-Boxes because they're faster. Just make sure that you're paying attention to what's happening in the 9th column so that way you can pot stall if you need to, or plant down another Gloom, or save your Gloom on cooldown so that way you don't plant one up here and then are missing one here. Other than that, I think you are on a good track to get, I think your next PB will probably be like, I don't know, should I say sub 340? I think you can do it. I think you can definitely do sub 340 because there's a lot of time to save even in this run still, even though you almost saved 10 full minutes by the end of it, which is incredible. All that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, subscribe. Make sure that you guys go and check out Moo in the description. And if you guys want your runs to be reviewed, make sure that you message me on Discord at Sasquatch19 with a lowercase s. And yeah, I'll try to give you guys some pointers, as many as I can, and help you guys all get a lower time in Plants vs. Zombies. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a freaking awesome day.